Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast talking Auburn football. Go ahead and like the video, comment, and click the bell. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. Now, many of us remember back in 2010, Auburn comes into that season with a hero recruit from the junior college market, Cameron Newton. We referred to him as Cam Newton. As a matter of fact, we knew that Cam Newton was about that life when he took off down the sideline against Arkansas State in the season opener. We were like, okay, we might be on to something. Cam Newton led Auburn to the national championship in 2010, especially we kind of knew it was all but a done deal after the comeback game against Alabama. So now his younger brother, Caylin Newton, comes in from Howard University as a preferred walk-on. Now, that's what we got to look at, okay? He comes in as a preferred walk-on, had a decent career at Howard, especially statistically. You know, kind of sort of shaky, 51.7% passing, 22 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, you know, going to a FCS school. But the highlight of his career was a huge win over UNLV, 43-40. That was probably the highlight there. Otherwise, not a very stellar career from a winning and loss standpoint, but now at Auburn. What do we get from Caylin Newton? Why did Auburn even choose him anyway? Well, for number one, based on what I see from his highlights, could be the perfect Wildcat situation. Now, you know, Boobie Whitlow, who has been a mainstay at that Wildcat position, he hit the transfer portal. He's gone from Auburn. One thing about Caylin Newton is he's very good in the intermediate passing game, has sort of a height disadvantage at between 5'11" and a half, maybe 6 feet, depending on who's, really talking about him. He's about 5'11", let's give a take. But he has a very quick strike, especially in an intermediate passing game. But he has a very quick first step. So what I'm thinking is when Auburn pursued him as a preferred walk-on once he hit the transfer portal, is that he'll be the perfect Wildcat situation. Number one, he can throw the ball, just like Boobie Whitlow could throw the ball. Number two, he can run the ball. And number three, you really don't want your prime quarterback, Bo Nix, in those Wildcat situations because of the risk of injury. So I really think that Auburn did a very good job of actually pursuing this guy. I think it's a very good recruit. Don't know what the plan is per se, but Wildcat is my spot for Caylin Newton. He's very fast, he's very elusive, and he gives somewhat of a change of pace, kind of like what Emory Jones gives to Florida when, how Frask is in the football game. But then you put in Emory Jones to kind of give it somewhat of a change of pace. I think that's what you could possibly get out of Caylin Newton, who has 2 more years of eligibility. And I think it actually makes sense. Of course, we don't believe that Caylin Newton will challenge Bo Nix for the starting position. We think that is Bo Nix's position for his tenure at Auburn until he either leaves early or he continues his tenure there. But I think there is a spot for Caylin Newton, and it's definitely at the Wildcat position because, one, you don't really need Tank Bigsby at the Wildcat position. Why not have Caylin Newton at the Wildcat position with Tank Bigsby or DJ Williams back there in the backfield? I think it makes perfect sense. And I think that's what Chad Morris and Gus Malzahn had in mind when inviting this young man as a preferred walk-on. The only thing, from what I see on video footage, the only thing that is a detriment to this guy who I think is very talented, who made a name for himself at Howard University, he just doesn't have the size. About 5'11", maybe a little over under 200 pounds, or between 195 and maybe 200 pounds at best. I think you got to put him at that Wildcat position. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast. Go ahead and like the video, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Go on YouTube and check out some highlights on Caylin Newton. I think he's a pretty good athlete. Not a Power 5 quarterback starter, but definitely a supplementary player that you can put him at the Wildcat position. And as always, great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.